Hey, what's up, guys? It looks like we are live for the 4 o'clock Q&A. Apologies today. I had a few things come up, so I wasn't able to jump on right at 3 like we've been doing. Um, got a couple of comments in here already. Still waiting on some questions here. Hope everybody's having a great week. Appreciate you jumping in here to join. Can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait either. Give it a couple of minutes here and see if we have some more questions that come in. All right. I'm rostering Tyus Jones, Jalen Suggs, Bones, Torrey Craig, Chris Boucher. Should I make a swap for any of them for Hayes, Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson, Malik Beasley, or Thad, 8-cat roto format? Um, yeah, I would be fine to drop uh, Boucher for Hayes. Personally, I think Hayes is going to be more reliable, especially here over the next, you know, indefinitely, right? While Cade is out, I would also be totally fine dropping Tyus Jones as well. John Morant is questionable tonight. There's a chance he gets back on the court after only missing one game. So I think, obviously, with Cade potentially having surgery or just missing a lot of time for rest, I think Killian Hayes is going to be the best out of that group, so totally fine with that. Should I trade my Fox for Garland in 9-cat head-to-head punt, rebounds, and turnovers build? No, hang on to Fox. I think Fox is the unquestioned top guy in Sacramento. They're lighting the beam. It seems like every damn night. So roll with De'Aaron Fox. I was totally wrong about him preseason, and he's blowing things out of the water. I think Garland is awesome, but he still has Spida to contend with. De'Aaron Fox should be second rounder rest of season, I would say. Monk or Powell rest of season. Ugh. Jeez, I'll have to go Powell here. I hate saying it. I don't really want to pick either of these guys. I'm not super confident about either. I know Powell is streaky. What did he have? 30 points in 28 minutes or 28 points in 30 minutes the other night. And I don't trust Kawhi at all. So yeah, give me Powell. Short-term and rest of season outlooks for Sexton, THT, and Alec Burks. Alec Burks is a better points league guy. He's fine for deeper leagues if you need points and some occasional triples. Sexton, I wish I knew. He signed that big sign and trade 4-year deal before coming over to Utah, and they've barely utilized him. He played in the starting lineup last night, but didn't do much. THT's interesting. He had 14, and then I think 2 of rebounds, assists, steals, blocks last night, some goofy line like that. And, he ended up looking pretty good, and he looked good the night before that as well when Connolly got injured. So Sexton is going to be probably my favorite play out of that group. Just based on floor, but ceiling is clearly Sexton, who averaged 24 points a game a couple seasons back before he got hurt. Hey, buddy. Yeah, that always makes me think of The Office where Michael is faking taking his phone calls. Hey, buddy. Daniel, will Hartenstein break out of this funk with Mitch Rob out again? Yeah, he'll break out with Mitch Rob out. Wouldn't expect Mitch Rob to be in the lineup. He never expected him to be back for too long when he came back. So here we are again. Yeah, Hartenstein's going to be the guy. Trade away Ant-Man and Jalen Green for Tyrese Halliburton. Do it every day of the week, twice on Sunday. Accept that trade now before the manager realizes his grievous error and walk away smiling and happy. Absolutely, you make that deal. Triple J and Jared Allen for Fox or John Morant, or would I be overpaying? That's a good question. If you are totally set at the center position, I'm not sold that you would be. I don't know your team, but it's tough to find elite centers, big men. So you're going to be giving up, 11 rebounds a game from Allen. You're going to be giving up blocks from both. I think you are probably, if you're loaded at center, absolutely make that move. If you're not loaded at center, I think you're probably going to be unhappy that you did that, because um, you're going to be much worse in field goal percentage, rebounds, and blocks. Jalen McDaniels, rest of season, 9-cat, 12-team league. Is he expendable? I don't think he's going to be expendable. Obviously, he hasn't been quite as good recently. Even with LaMelo Ball out, he's not quite getting it done. I don't think he's expendable, but uh, well, I take it back. He's expendable. If you need somebody that's hotter off the waiver wire that can give you some better production right now, yes. Do I think Jalen McDaniels will be relevant at some point for the rest of the season? Absolutely, yes. Charlotte will probably continue to deal with injuries for the rest of the season. Vanderbilt, Bruce Brown, Royce O. Rest of season. Thanks, Zach. You look good. Oh man, I appreciate that. Yeah, freshly shaved. So navy hat with paint stains all over it. So yeah, appreciate that. Vanderbilt, Bruce Brown, Royce O'Neal, rest of season. Bruce Brown is more of a streamer when guys like Murray and Jokic are out, because he can play point guard, and he can kind of give you that, point forward combination that you like so much. Royce O'Neal, I think, is probably the safest of this bunch. I'm not entirely sure about Vanderbilt in Utah, just based on that rotation. And recently, Vanderbilt has really not been giving you a whole lot other than rebounds. The defensive stats have been kind of lacking. Even the field goal percentage is not blowing you out of the water. So Royce O'Neal for me, just because he's kind of a jack of all trades and can do a little bit of everything. But Ben Simmons here recently has been coming on. So I think maybe if Simmons starts to really take on that larger role and emerge as, the playmaker that Brooklyn needs him to be, maybe Royce O'Neal takes a little bit of a step back. But again, he's kind of that Swiss Army knife. He gives you a little bit of everything. So it's Royce, rest of season, then Vanderbilt, and then Bruce Brown is a great streamer. Can you rank the pickups? Hayes, Reggie, Beasley, DSJ, Norm Powell, Thad, and 8-Cat. Yeah, you already have number one in the right order, Killian Hayes. Beasley is number two, just because he's a consistent source of points and threes. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. He's going to get you a ton of those stats. He's been a top, 85 guy all season, basically. Reggie Jackson, I don't trust. If you're not looking at field goal percentage, then he's fine. If you're not concerned about just the inconsistency that you're going to get from him, so I would go Hayes, Beasley, Powell, just because he'll have some staying power with PG injured. Thad is a good streamer right now, but Boucher is coming back. He's off the injury report for tomorrow. DSJ is next, and then Jackson is my least favorite out of this bunch. Trade D'Lo and Connolly for Dinwiddie and Lowry. Punt, rebounds, and turnovers build. I think you got to make that move. Conley's injured. He could potentially be back in 2 weeks. If you need to win now, make the move. If you need some better production the rest of season, I still think I'd make the move anyway. I don't trust Dinwiddie. Obviously, he's injured now with the shoulder issue that he's having. I don't trust that he was going to stay hot, and he started to kind of regress a little bit. And D'Lo, what a disappointment he's been this season, right? And Lowry's been balling, right? He's having like a renaissance season right now. So yeah, I think I make that move. Do you like Niang's opportunity with all of the injuries in Philly? I do. I think yes, you can play him for a couple of games this week if you don't have better options, but I still prefer Shake Milton DeAnthony Melton, obviously, I'm sure he's probably rostered in whatever league you're in, but prefer Milton. But yeah, Niang's fine. Toby's coming back, so that kind of uh, halts any of that huge upside. But yeah, Niang's fine. Is it time to sell high on Clay? What type of players can I target for him? Oh man, this is a tough one. I don't know. I think it is time. I, I think it's probably time to sell high on him if you can. I'll preface that by saying I'm not entirely sure who you can sell high on him for. I know that's part of your question, so I apologize. I don't know what the market for Clay is right now. I would say at this point, if you can sell high and get another, you can get a top 75 player. I don't think that'll happen, but if you can maybe package him with somebody and really upgrade, in a 2-for-1 deal, I would do that. But otherwise, I think you've got to hold. I don't think you're going to get back what you paid for him. Unfortunately, I think everybody kind of has those same concerns that he's just going to fall off or get hurt. Would you keep Jalen Smith, DSJ, or Jalen Williams? It's still Jalen Smith for me. I know DSJ is going to have some value while LaMelo is out. Jalen Williams has looked really good, but do we really trust OKC's revolving lineup? I think he probably has the most staying power of any of the guys that are on that roster. But Jalen Smith is a full-time starter for the Pacers, and I know there's been some ebbs and flows, but he's had some really good moments. Any hopes for LaMelo? Fingers crossed. I have no idea. Obviously, if he's anything like his brother, then no. But we'll have to wait and see. Keep Poku or Ijax? For me, it's going to be Poku. He has. It seemed like he's been more reliable as far as minutes, and especially here recently. Just being regularly involved in that rotation. Isaiah Jackson can kind of vary from game to game, especially with Miles Turner just having such a great season. So I would keep Poe there. You hate to drop either. What happened to the Roundball Stew crew? Are we ever getting those podcasts back? Unfortunately, at this time, Jared, and I'm sure you guys, if you're here, you followed along on Twitter, or you've heard through the grapevine or on Reddit or, wherever, Jared, Dr. A, Jonas, and Ryan were let go. So in the meantime, there was an update Matt Strout put out on the Roundball Stew podcast, just, letting everybody know that it's on hiatus right now. Obviously hope that podcast comes back. I know that was such a favorite for everybody, and I love being on them. Roundball Stew crew, unfortunately, those guys were let go, and the show's on a hiatus right now. Boucher or Thad, and are both either worth rostering after Siakam comes back in 7 days? Boucher. Thad is fine, but Boucher has the higher ceiling, even though he's a bit inconsistent. Sell high on Melton and or Bruce after the week. I have Jamal on IR. I would sell high on Bruce. I would be keeping Melton. Melton looked good before Maxey and Harden got hurt. So I think Maxey will be awesome. He's going to get you a lot of steals and a lot of threes, and love to see that. Who y'all got tonight for the wins, Nets or 76ers? I have the Nets winning. I have the Sixers covering. The Sixers are, when I wrote up my betting preview for them this morning, they were 8-point dogs at home. Love a good home dog, so I am taking the 76ers. I think Brooklyn is finally starting to gel. Kyrie's back. Ben Simmons is really looking good, and this is the time where Brooklyn will break your heart, and they'll come out and mess it up somehow, right? They'll let you down in the big spots. So give me the Nets, but give me the Sixers and the points. Is Okongwu a hold? No. You can get rid of him if you need a better option off the waiver wire. I think the upside is really juicy from last year. We love it, but obviously Clint Capella is still the guy there, and we haven't seen this major breakout from Okongwu, and he's not getting it done in the 20 minutes he's getting a game. What do you think about Avdia rest of season? Can he be a 14-team guy in points leagues? Definitely. He definitely can be. I went and saw him a couple of weeks ago. My wife and I took the kids out to Washington, and we were there when they played the Grizzlies, and him and Porzingis were just raining threes down. And that's kind of what he's been doing recently. He's been hitting threes. Obviously, he can get rebounds. He had a double-double the other night, I think 12 or 13 rebounds. So yeah, he's looked really good, and they've been giving him consistent starters minutes. Bradley Beal's been in and out of the lineup, so I totally think I think he's already there. He's a 14-team guy right now for points leagues. Any reason to hold Miles Bridges? Nope. Just trade Sexton for Ijax, who is getting better for this trade. I think it depends, but I think with Connolly being injured, I think you'd want to have Sexton just to see what can happen. Obviously, he's been a disappointment, but I think the upside is still there, especially if he's going to be starting. Upside's there for some big scoring and possibly some big assists. I traded Collins and LeVert for Jamal Murray. Picked up also from the waiver wire Killian Hayes. What do you think about the move? I think in a points league, that's totally fine. In a categories league, I think we'd be having a different discussion. But I still think it's not a bad move either way. This is kind of the interesting thing about 2-for-1 trades, right? So it's not just that you're trading two guys to get one better player, which is always kind of nice. You're also, by trading those two guys, you don't have the pressure to, hang on to somebody that you think is maybe like a fringe guy. You can just reserve that spot for the flavor of the week and a guy that you want to stream. So whether it be, Bruce Brown with everybody on Denver being sick, or whether it be, just whoever's hot for the week. Taylor Horton Tucker, you want to take a flyer on him. Shake Milton, you want to grab him. Lonnie Walker, you want to pick him up because LeBron's been out. Those kind of things. So you're getting a better player and a streaming spot. So I think that's always something to consider. Is Denny a hold for the rest of the season? I think he is if you have the space. Again, this is all dependent on your roster. I think he has decent upside, but if you need to cut him for somebody that's balling out this week, then that's fine. If K loses the season and Hayes maintains a starter role rest of season, where do you think his value is in points leagues? I think he's a top 100 guy in points and categories leagues. I think he's probably a little more valuable in categories leagues just because of the defensive contributions and their scarcity. And he doesn't score a ton of points, but he has shown that he can score points. He's looked more confident shooting recently. He's been more aggressive on offense. So I think he's going to be, I think he's going to be good in either format. Okay. I have so many players injured, don't we all? In a weekly league, LaMelo Ball, Harden, ouch. In a weekly 12 team, current placement 6 out of 10. Should I hold or trade my injured players? Again, this just depends on how deep your roster is. Obviously, if you have LaMelo, Ball, and Harden, then there's 2 of your first 3 picks. I'm not sure where you got Ball, but I'm sure you probably had to pick him in the 50, in the top 50 or top 60 at least. So there's 3 of your early picks. If you could get some fair value for them, absolutely. But I know as a manager, I would be trying to buy low on those guys while they're hurt, and you're probably going to be getting a lot of low ball offers for them. So fair value, trade them and start winning again. If you're not going to get fair value, hold on to them, weather the storm, and you'll be better off for it later on. I think LaMelo would be the most likely for me to trade. Bane and Harden, this is their first injury. LaMelo, this is a re-injury. So yeah, that's how I would approach it. Rest of season outlook on Melton and Olynyk. Really high on Melton and pretty high on Olynyk. I know there's been kind of some dissent with Olynyk just because of his minutes, mid-20s, and kind of inconsistency here and there. But I think both are going to be top 100 guys. I think Melton obviously has the higher ceiling. Melton can rack up the defensive stats that you really like. He can get assists when Harden and Maxey are out, which is who they're going to be out first, or which is they're going to be out for a little while, I should say. Zach, my guy, someone offered me Middleton for Porzingis in a 12-team 9-cat league. Would you do it? No, I'm holding on to Porzingis. He's been really good this year. Obviously, you got to worry about the injury, but at this point, Middleton's the one that's injured and hasn't made his appearance yet. So for me, it's Porzingis. Porzingis has the higher ceiling than Middleton just because of the blocks and the triples. So give me KP all day. Who hits the court first, Fultz or Middleton? Ooh, I don't know. I don't have a coin here to flip, so I will have to go with Chris Middleton. Sell high on Bowl. I'm afraid he may lose his starter spot when Fultz and Banchero are back. He might lose his starter spot. That's true. But he was doing plenty to be rostered, before he was inserted into the starting lineup. And do we really trust that Fultz is going to come back full force and be able to stay out there? I think Banchero obviously, gives Bowl a little bit of a hit, but I'm not worried about Fultz in this spot. If you can sell high on him for somebody, wildly talented and somebody that's a top 50 guy that you're not worried, you don't have those same concerns about, that's fine. But otherwise, hold on to him and enjoy it. Okay. Melton or Payne short term. This is an interesting one. I think for me right now, it's Melton by a hair in the short term, just because everybody's out, especially this week. You have Harden, Maxey, and Embiid out for tonight and Friday, but both are excellent options. Hold Eason or drop. I think right now you got to drop if you need somebody. I love the upside, but obviously the Houston coaching staff is not sold on giving him big minutes. And Bruno Fernando is he had a full practice today and potentially coming back. And I don't know why they'll probably end up giving him minutes. And there goes KJ Martin, Tari Eason, and potentially minutes for Sengun as well. So yeah, drop him. Unfortunately. Was all this John Isaac talk just smoke like last year? Probably. Yeah. There's been nothing said that indicates he's anywhere close to returning. So yeah, it's just all a bunch of lip service at this point. I have Vooch, Brolo, and Adams even after I trade Triple J and Jared Allen for Fox or Ja. So I'm good, right? I have Vooch, Brolo, and Adams even after I trade. Oh, okay. This was the Triple J and Jared Allen question from earlier. So I'm good, right? Vooch, Brolo, and Adams. Yeah, in that case, yeah, upgrade at guard. In that case, I would absolutely trade for De'Aaron Fox. He's balling out right now. Dynasty question: worth trading Maxey in a deal for Siakam if it means getting to shed Vooch and Tobias Harris while they could still be moved in that format for a team playing for Victor? That's interesting. So this is a dynasty question. You'd be trading Maxey for Siakam, and that means you get to shed Vooch and Tobias Harris while they can still be moved in that format. That's a great question. I think, man, I think in this case I would still rather have Tyrese Maxey, even if it means, like you said, shedding Vooch and Tobias Harris. I think I would still rather have Maxey. Siakam obviously is a beast, and he started the season really hot, but Maxey is younger, and we still haven't seen his best play yet. So I would rather have Maxey. Really bummed to hear about the gang being let go. Sending our best to every one of those gents. Yeah, me too. I still talk with those guys, and they're all doing really well. So I definitely appreciate that, and I know they appreciate all those comments. Who can you trade for D'Angelo and Jalen Green? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think Jalen Green is obviously a much more valuable. Oh, here we go. Correction. Who can you get for D'Angelo, I assume D'Angelo Russell and Jalen Green. Green's much more valuable option here out of him and D'Angelo Russell, obviously. But if you can get somebody that's man, that's a tough one. I always have trouble with these questions of who can I get and who can I trade. Um, just because it's so dependent on your league. I think if you can get a top 75 guy for, the combination of Russell and Green, just based on that name value, I think you go ahead and make that move and make the upgrade. But otherwise, these guys will be better than, what we've seen from them so far, especially Green, I think. Hi, Zach. I want to thank you for taking time to answer my questions in Twitter. Really appreciate it. All but love. Yeah, I hope I'm not doing you any disservice with the mispronunciation here. I'm assuming it's Blendy. Yeah, absolutely. Always happy to answer those questions. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for the love. Definitely appreciate that. All right, guys, I got a couple more questions and I got to hop off of here. This is a short one today. I'm kind of running a little bit behind and got to take my daughters to dance class this evening. So I got a couple more minutes here. Again, I want to thank everybody for jumping on. I really appreciate it. Help trade Sengun for Jabari. Head-to-head multi-cat dynasty. Oh, man. Whew. In a dynasty league, yeah, I think you trade Sengun for Jabari. Absolutely. I think if we're talking redraft, I'd rather have Sengun, but I think just seeing what we've seen from Jabari so far, obviously there's, we see the peaks and valleys with him as a rookie, especially with that god awful shooting percentage of his. It's not going to continue like that forever. But again, he's a guy that can block and shoot threes. So for me, it's Jabari here. All right, got a couple more here. I was offered Grant and Kuzma for Kristaps in a 12-team category league. I declined. Did I make the right decision? Yeah, I think you did. Man, Jeremy Grant, I kind of wrote him off early in the season, and he's really turned it around. Kuzma's been great as well. But again, I really think Kristaps has the highest ceiling out of all these guys. All right, got two more questions here. Pick 3, Milton White, Jalen Williams, Caleb Martin, Lonnie Murphy, Avdia for 9-cat 12-team league. Okay, so I'm assuming this is just for this week. I don't know if this is rest of season or not, but I will go Shake Milton. I will go, let's see, if it's just for this week, we'll go Shake Milton. We'll go Caleb Martin. And just because everybody in Miami is injured. And we'll go, I think, Avdia here. Several guys in Washington are injured as well. Thanks, Zach. Have a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, great Thanksgiving to everybody out there that celebrates. Hope you safe travels, good food, all the above. And last question here. Do you think Embiid will miss more than the 2 games that he's been announced out? Gut feeling says yes, just because I feel like that's kind of been his history. But, obviously he played back-to-backs, 2 back-to-backs in a week, so definitely can't count anything out here. All right, guys, I think that's and last one. This is the last one in the queue here. Thanks for hanging with us. Hope the kids have a good time at dance class. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you again to everybody for tuning in. I had to skip a few of these, a handful of them. I tried to get to most of them. If not, hit me up on Twitter at Zach the Monster. I'm always hanging around there. Happy to answer some questions. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll be back next Tuesday. Have a great Thanksgiving, guys. Take care.